The Ford government's new education bill will become law later this week, giving the Education Minister the ability to put school boards under supervision more easily. Critics argue it'll centralize power at Queen's Park, but the government argues the bill will make sure school boards stick to their mandates and don't veer off course. Minister Paul Calandra is joining me live now in studio to discuss his new powers. Minister, a pleasure to welcome you back. Thanks so much for making the time.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Previous to these reforms, you had to clear like a much higher standard in order to intervene and launch an investigation. Like school boards had to be in either like dire financial straits or you had to clear a multi-investigator report. This legislation, though, very vaguely defines what may be considered a matter of public interest that would necessitate your intervention. So where is the line now? Is there a criteria you will be using?
Yeah, there's still there is very clearly a broad series of interventions that I can make. But I still have to go through the process of launching an investigation, having somebody go in and look at the boards. So there is still going to be a vigorous oversight when the minister can move in. But it is very clearly on instances where, as I highlighted yesterday, you know, the Near North School Board, where you have kids in a half-demolished school, a project over 10 years, multiple ministry interventions, and the minister unable to move in and set that board on a correct path. So this allows me to move in much quicker and put things back on the right path.
I do take your point about the Near North School Board, and I don't think anyone in Ontario would defend that. But if the parameters around, again, what would necessitate your intervention and provincial supervision is solely at your discretion, like, where is the line?
Again, it's not just that the minister will move in and take over a board, right? I'd have to launch an investigation, as I do right now. There'd have to be an independent investigation done on a school board, recommendations that come back to me, and then the minister, I would have to make the decision as to whether I would step in or not. But look, I haven't been shy about this. I intend to move in on school boards when they aren't doing what is in the best interests of students and teachers. That's why I'm really quite excited about the bill having passed us today. We have multiple examples, right? The Thames Valley, over a number of years, we had no idea what was going on. I mean, the issues in that board have led to criminality. So we had to wait and wait and wait. And there's some who would suggest, well, you got to wait till things get really, really bad. The opposition suggested, well, just deal with it at the next election. Well, I'm supposed to disadvantage students for years, as has been the case now. No, I'm going to step in. I'm going to put things back on track. And I don't apologize for that, frankly. I don't apologize for it because I think parents, students, and teachers deserve to know that the ministry will step in when a board is off the rails. These teachers work pretty hard. Not pretty hard. They work really, really hard. And you know, I keep bringing up Near North, but there's so many other examples where teachers say, can you not just step in quicker? Put us back on track. You have the Brant Catholic Board, which got together and changed their rules so that they could go on a trip. You have the Erie, the Windsor Greater Essex School Board, where trustees, I think they've had now 3 resignations this year alone, and last night spent more time arguing how to fill the roles than they did talking about students and teachers. So I'm going to use the authorities given to me to make sure that education is on the path that helps support students and teachers.
I guess the other side of that argument, as you mentioned, is that the school community right now, though, does have the freedom to go to the polls and, you know, not elect a trustee again, for instance, if they're dissatisfied with, you know, their performance. If supervisors are solely accountable to you, though, like, what accountability is there to the public, and how does this legislation actually achieve your stated goal of improving accountability?
Yeah, well, look, and this is not this bill in itself has nothing to do with the governance model.
No, of course.
And I know you're not suggesting that. So that is still very much on the table. But as I've been saying in interview after interview after interview, I want to be held accountable as the Minister of Education. I want to be held accountable for the decisions that I'm making, for the results that students are getting. I've said that this will give students a better opportunity to succeed, and I want to be held accountable.
And how do you plan on being held accountable, though, if parents can't exactly call you up if they have an issue at their child's school?
Well, look, we've announced the student, parent, family resource offices that will be not only in the supervised boards, but in every board across the province of Ontario. The parents still have access to teachers. They still have access to principals and vice principals, which are usually the first step when parents have challenges within a board. They still have access to superintendents, but now we're bringing in offices to solely help when parents are having challenges within the school system that they haven't been able to address at the school level, not just in supervised boards, but in every single board across the province. But I want to be held as the Ministry of Education. We need to show leadership, the ministry, across the province of Ontario so that we can deliver on a better education system. And if we don't, you can fire me.
One final question. I don't have a lot of time left. And I do ask this question with great respect. If the stated goal is to, improve the governance model of school boards and how they're run, why are the provincially appointed supervisors at those 5 school boards who are currently installed there, why don't they have backgrounds in education?
Well, look, they're dealing with the financial mismanagement. The supervisors were brought in to deal with the financial mismanagement of the system.
But the idea of this legislation is that you can step in even if a school board is in a surplus position.
Yeah, and the supervisors that you bring in will be different depending on what the situation is at a board. The boards that we've taken over right now are either financial mismanagement or mismanagement at the director level. So the supervisors match the challenge that we're seeing in each of the boards, and that won't change with this legislation. You would always bring somebody in to meet the needs of the board or the challenges that the board is facing.
Okay, Minister Paul Calandra, I have to leave it there. I'm out of time. Appreciate you taking the time for the conversation this morning.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.